Hi, I'm Dr. Gami Urbi, and I'm so glad to be part of Limitless. Today, I'm so excited to share to you about a very interesting topic that it's one of my favorite topics to speak about. And I also would like to share to you about my life. The title of my topic today is about becoming a game changer. I'm sure we are all familiar with this concept, this idea about game changer. We have heard of this in sports, in politics, in business. We are all attracted to the game changers in our lives. These are the people who we look up to. They are the ones who excel. They live a life of excellence in their respective fields. And they are the ones who push the envelope. They are the ones who we look up to because they break limits and they do things that have significant impact to the world around them. And so we are always in search of these game changers in our lives. We are inspired by how they live. They motivate us, they challenge us to become better, and we look up to them. So in the literature, the definition of a game changer is it is an element or a factor that changes an existing situation or activity in a significant way, in a beneficial way. In my own words, I would call it a turning point. A turning point. So, it is important to know that as a game changer, it is not just a person who changes the game in your life or who changes the game in the people around you, but it is also an event, a happening, an incident that happens in your life that you would consider it to be a game changing event, a turning point in your life that would propel you and lead you to where you want to be. Now, the question is that how do you become a game changer? Or how do you recognize a game changing event that happens in your life that you would use to propel you to higher, bigger heights, so to speak? Um, how do you become a game changer to the people close to you, to the people around you, your family, your loved ones, your office mates, your friends, your colleagues in whatever work you are in? How do you make a significant impact to their lives, to to the world in general, or how do you become significant as a game changer? So that is the question that I want us to look into in this topic. So the first thing is that life is a game. Every day is a game. It's a constant battle, you know. And just like any game, there are, I would say, two dimensions to a game. Just like, like if you play a game of tennis or whatever sport you're into, there are two dimensions to it. There is an inner game and an outer game. Now, let me explain what that is because this is so important. First is the outer game. The outer game is what you see physically. Like, for example, I am a triathlete. And to be a triathlete, you have to be able to do three events, three sports in one event. Like the first is you swim, You bike and then you run at the end. To be able to finish a race, you have to be able to finish all three. And to be able to finish all three, you have to prepare physically. Like in swimming, you have to be able to master efficiency in swimming. In biking, you have to be able to build those large, big muscles to move you forward in cycling. And in the run part, you have to be able to master the discipline of pacing and being able to, recruit those muscles that you need to carry you to the finish line. Those are the outer game, the physical game. Your nutrition is an outer game. How you sleep, that's an outer game, physical. But there's also a different aspect to this game, and that is the inner game. It is what's happening inside of you, day in and day out. The inner game is actually more important. Well, I'm not saying outer game is not important. It is much more important because it has a lot to do with the mind. I'm sure you have heard of this. Mind game, mental game, mind over matter. So let me explain a bit. What is the inner game? The inner game is what's happening inside our mind and inside our hearts as we play our game. When when uh, when the mind, when your heart, your beliefs, your actions, and the results you want are all aligned, everything becomes effortless. Everything just flows naturally to you. So, to give you a concrete example of an inner game, you know, to become a triathlete, you have to always wake up every morning to train every morning. And a lot of those days, you just don't want to. But you know what? The inner game is the one who will push you to wake up as early as 4 in the morning and being able to do your routine, your training every morning. And to me, whatever I do, I always check where my heart is and where my mind is. I always have to remind myself every day that whatever I do, it should be according to God's will in my life. So that is what propels me to wake up every morning. Allow me to share with you a bit about um, that one of the turning points or the game changer in my life was when I met a friend back in college, and I was at the lowest point in my life, just like some of us would go through. But she was there for me, and she shared to me a very important passage from Jeremiah 29:11. And this has become my sort of my battle cry. And I would like to share with you this passage. This passage is about the promises of the Lord to us. For I know the plans I have for you, says the Lord. Plans to give you prosperity. Plans to give you a future full of hope. So that has been my mindset ever since. It has been my battle cry that whatever happens, the Lord's desire for me is to prosper, is to become successful in life. So that when I feel down, I always go back to that inner game in my mind and remind myself that whatever happens, the Lord's desire for me is to succeed, is to prosper. And that will carry me through all these difficulties and trials I go through. So, the difference between success and failure is being able to win the inner game. That's the most important thing. Now, I would like to share with you one of my, I would say, the greatest turning point in my life. Um, I grew up in a decent family. We were not so rich. My mother is a dentist. That's why I became a dentist. She's my game changer. And my dad was a government employee. So we live a simple life. And I have an older brother. He is, wow, he is the best big brother anyone could ever have. He's very intelligent, very charming. Uh, Everything that he does very well. He's the favorite of everyone. He's the apple of the eye of my parents. He excels in everything. And so I'm the second one. So uh, I grew up thinking that I'm not as good as him. When during parties, when we have family gatherings, my parents always talk about him, and they never take notice of me because, well, I'm an average, as what they say. Don't get me wrong, my parents are so loving. Maybe it's just unknowingly they were, like playing favorites, so to speak. And one of the funny things that I well, I see it as funny now, but before it wasn't. When whenever I look at the family album, I always count the number of baby pictures my brother had. He had 27. I only had 8. So in a way, it came to me differently. Whenever I graduated in high school, my brother always had this new barong, new pants, new shoes, and it was my turn to graduate in high school. It was all hand me down. Every day in our house, when you enter our living room, you will always see this large frame of all my brother's achievements, medals, awards, trophies. And right next to it is a small frame, 3 ribbons. Uh, those are mine. And my awards were most punctual and most charming. And every day when I see those frames, it has reminded me of how less I am compared to my brother. And so fast forward, growing up, I've always think of myself as less, average, not good enough. But the thing is, um, it could happen 2 ways. It could result in 2 ways. I could be a rebel. I would like mess up my life, or I would take it as a challenge. And so back in dental school, unknowingly, silently, I was doing a lot of work. Silently behind the eyes of my parents, I was just working so hard. Fast forward, graduation came, and I was one of those awarded excellence in my class, in my whole batch. And during this graduation, in at PICC at the large hall, all the graduates were sitting in front. But if you're an awardee, you have to be sitting in front with your parents, so that when they award you and they give you the award, it would be easy for them to go up the stage. But I didn't inform any one of them. And so when my name was called, it was so dramatic. I had to go up to where they are at the bleacher and grab them all the way down. They were also surprised. What's happening? And then I brought them up to the stage, my parents and both my grandparents. And for the first time in my life, when they awarded me that medal, I felt for the first time they were proud of me. That was a game changing event. It made me believe in who I am. And that has propelled me to where I am today. You know, in life, a game changing event is not always a winning moment. It's not always a person who will show you. It is sometimes, or most of the time in my life, it is through difficulties, through crisis, through hardships that will turn our life around. And it is up to us. It is up to us. If we recognize these game changing events, if we recognize these game changing persons in our life, and we want to tweak it, make the most of it, and most importantly, win the inner game. Two things I learned in this whole process, that is discipline and courage. Discipline, because every day you have to make decisions to do what is right. And courage means you have to pursue whatever it is that you want to dream in life. So, with that, I thank you all for this time that you have listened to this very short talk. And I pray that you will become a game changer in the people around you and in the world around you. Thank you so much.